Hello, hello, lovely people. Hey, how you doing? It is great to be back. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you are in this space, go ahead and give me a shout out. Say hello in the comments. If you are not where you're able to do that, that is okay. I want you to listen and listen intently. You are in the right spot tonight if you've noticed that sometimes self care can really be used as a band aid for certain things, especially when it comes to burnout. Especially if you are like, okay, I've done all the things, I am sitting in the self care practices, and nothing is changing. You still frustrated, you still overwhelmed, you still just got this low level of energy. You've gone to the doctor, they ran all the tests, and they've declared that there's really nothing wrong with you, that you just need to rest more. And you get that, and you're like, what does that even mean? Well, I am going to talk to you about what rest means and what it means for you because it is personalized. It's a personal thing for each and every person because you have your own values, you have your own unique makeup, and you have your own rhythms and flows and things as well. So, go ahead and be sure to comment during the live. This is a live stream, so if you are catching me on the replay, shout out to you for catching the replay or going back to review it to refresh some things in your mind. Shout out to you. But you can also still, light it up in the comments. Say, hey, if something really is an aha moment for you, or if it's like, yes, I really need that, let me know in the comments. I do read your comments as well, so that way I can comment back to you and talk to you as well. Go ahead and subscribe. We are on YouTube as well. Over at our YouTube channel, Align with Dr. Kim is the name. And this is our Monday Night Live called Embracing Brilliance. I am your host, Dr. Kim of Align with Dr. Kim, where we heal from burnout and create balance so we can express our brilliance and embrace well being at the same time. Alrighty, so the topic on tonight is talking about self-care strategies that truly heal. I want you to leave this live knowing that you have the power to practice self-care. It's not something that you have to throw under the rug. It's not something that's too hard for you to do, and it is a transformative practice. And the goal is to heal. So, I'm gonna start off with healing, right? So with healing anything, I'm a chiropractor, so I am going to use chiropractic references here. Anytime something heals in the body, it's not going to be like a complete overhaul and replacement of that thing. We all know if you lose a tooth and they extract it, are you going to grow a new tooth back? Not to our knowledge so far in the medical field. If you break a bone, does that heal? Yes, it will. If you get a scrape or something on your skin, does it heal? Yes. Will the elements around that joint or whatever thing on you that broke or needed repair, is it going to have the same materials as it did before? No. There's going to be some scar tissue. There's going to be some things that don't work quite as well as it did before, but it does help you function and move forward in life. And so with healing here, I am looking at the outcome of healing to be when you come to a space where things no longer bother you. Burnout is no longer an issue for you. You know how to monitor yourself. You have all your practices in place. And most importantly, your mind, your heart, your emotions, and your physical body are all in a place of engagement, meaning you're engaged fully in the life that God has designed for you to live. So that's what we're defining as being healed. So, what type of practices would we have to get involved in with that in order to do that? Let's talk about going beyond the surface. What real healing look like. I really want to talk about what healing is and how I'm looking at that as far as healing burnout, because there are some behaviors that we have. And I'm talking to you, introverted woman of faith. If you are an introvert, if you are dealing with types of burnout, stress, and overwhelm, you going through cycle after cycle after cycle, and you know something needs to change, or you've tried self-care before, you definitely are in the right space. So not only are we healing, but we're also hydrating on tonight. So I'm just going to remind you to stay hydrated. If you have not had your water for today, this is your reminder to drink some water. I'm going to take a few sips here and there as well, because we need to stay hydrated. That helps your joints, your brain, your body, everything. And we need it. Yes, we do. So now, how do I start off with this? So we know about self-care. Self-care, people talk about self-care like in bubble baths, having a spa night, going on a vacation, or just sleeping. Going out with friends is considered self-care. There are so many different realms or areas of well-being and self-care. There's financial self-care, there's environmental self-care, there's social self-care, community self-care. Then there's your personal self-care, the things that you do to take care of yourself, like your hygiene, your grooming. Yes, all of those things are considered self-care. Your hobbies, things that you find enjoyment in, things that are able to refuel you and to recharge you. Even sleep is a part of self-care, because that's going to recharge your body for everything that you need to do as well. Now, when we move beyond the surface level of those things, we're looking at a holistic form of self-care. Having a practice of self-care that addresses your mental needs, helps with you to mentally recharge, you to emotionally express, to emotionally release things, helping you to physically recharge and refuel, to rest in those areas. It addresses all parts of us. It's a more wholesome result, and it's a more wholesome engagement. Because if you're lacking in one area, if you are doing things mentally, meaning that you're reading books or you're doing things for mental stimulation, you're learning things, but you don't have a habit of doing physical things for your health, meaning that you could always be tired and not looking at your nutrition plan, things like that. So this is why we explore all areas of those things, not only to help keep us in a state of function, but also we want to address the underlying layers of burnout as well with those things. When we are experiencing or I should say, when our joy has been depleted, there are certain things that will give us joy, right? It's like a little sugar rush sometimes. And that may just be happiness. Let me say it like that. Happiness happens because of happenings, things that are happening. But joy is from the inside out. Joy is you understanding and knowing, and just it is an ever flowing, ever abundant force that's on the inside of you. And thank y'all. I'm checking in the comments as well. Hey, Andrea. Andrea said, "Drink your water." I totally agree with that. Real healing takes place from the inside out when we are able to do things that will communicate to the innermost portion of ourselves that we are worthy, that we are loved, that we are already accepted. We won't have to try to place or seek those things in our job, from our jobs, from our position. If you're dealing with cycles of burnout, you have the issues of being overcommitted, being the yes woman or the yes man, being the superwoman, wearing the capes, feeling overly responsible for everything. Your workload is just way up higher than what you need it to be. Your weekends don't exist, or maybe you've gotten to the point where you got the weekends, but you got a load on your desk when you get back. You hadn't been delegating. There's lack of support. You have those issues going on. So being able to address the root of that, meaning What are we searching for really? What are the things that we want? When we practice self-care, we're able to instill that love and that worth and that value on the inside of us. We're able to accept ourselves, and we walk into a space of abundance in that acceptance and fully understanding that you have access to everything, and everything that you need is available to you. It's about the mindset and changing your beliefs. And that's why we're going to talk about some strategies that really offer you a chance to do some real deeper type of healing here. So we talked about the holistic self-care style. That's mental, physical, and emotional, doing things that addresses all of those layers. And I'm going to share with you later on too, like some ways to build your personal self-care plan, because like I said in the beginning, it is very personal on how you want to do these things. You want to make it where it's sustainable for you. And what I mean by sustainable is, if you know you running a household and you got kids and you have to attend to them depending upon what their ages are, there's no way you're going to be able to soak in the tub at night and set up your bathtub exactly like, I'm just gonna call out Nikki on TikTok, on Clean Talk as we call it. Um, Homegirl have everything laid out. I don't know if y'all saw that video, but I'm like, this is the life I want to live. And even if you are, I'm not a mom, not a mom yet, but I empathize with mothers who have young kids, or they may not have the community or the support system, or they have the support system and you don't know how to tap into it yet, or how to set those boundaries, or um how to enlist and encourage people to come support, how to invite. Yes, that's what, thank you. That's the word. How to invite people to be a part of your support circle. Those people who are there for you and available to you, but you may not have noticed them before, right? So coming into those spaces where um we can practice things that we can keep up with. We can practice things that are within our capacity. Like for example, with that same woman, being able to just go in the restroom for 5 minutes and play music on your headphones is an act of self-care that will start to pour into you. It's like starting to make a new door for yourself, if you will, when you're practicing a habit like that. You may not be able to do all the luxurious grand gestures. You may just have to have your cherry juice in the evening. And I'm mixing in the physical here, because cherry juice, tart cherry juice in particular, has magnesium in it. If you assist as working out, and you can, I know it's the sleepy girl mocktail on TikTok, or they may have called it something else. There are so many mocktails that can help you hormonally, that can help you rest, that can help you with energy. Getting those supplements and those nutrients into your body to help you relax and rest and to optimize your level of rest is amazing. Pouring that, fixing it for yourself, just being excited and putting it in a wine glass for yourself, dressing it up, playing some light music in the background while you're doing it, all of those type of things, you are modeling self-care. You are modeling that you are worthy, that you are valuable, and that you deserve the time to do those things. The more you practice that, the frequency changes in your life. And just starting off with pouring yourself a glass of cherry juice at night and making it like a moment for yourself, like, this is my moment. I'm going to enjoy this. This is going to be sweet. That's going to pour over into your work eventually. And there are some strategies and ways that we can do that as well. So I just want to encourage you about that also. So, hey, yes, okay. Hey, Jala, tart cherry juice. Yeah, you said you've heard of it. I said Nikki. um I think it's Operation Nikki is one of her pages, but she's on Clean Talk, where she has everything set up. I think the most recent one is her going on vacation on a Disney cruise line, and she showed how it's mostly faceless unless she's showing her lovely, beautiful skincare routines with her glass skin. She is beautiful and amazing. But she works hard at the things that she does, very intentional, and it's very encouraging. But yeah, she shows how she cleans things, how she likes to set up her environment. And that is a huge part of self care. She makes sure she takes care of herself, her household, her family, all of those type of things. But she's always pouring into herself. I know we may not see like 300% of what goes on in her life on a day-to-day basis, and she has some struggles and some challenges. She's a very transparent person. She's real about things, which I appreciate. But yeah, she practices it, and it flows over. You hear how well I'm talking about it, so yeah, it flows. Purple disposable gloves. You saw that with yeah, she had the Disney the Minnie Mouse or Mickey Mouse ears on in that video. Yes, absolutely. Women in burnout, we talked about that point as well. Being a woman that's going through constant cycles of burnout, like I said, having that overcommitment, really getting to the root of those issues of where are you looking for love and acceptance and value and worth? Is it in your work? Is it in the way you treat people? Are you looking for them to give you that same treatment? When we practice self-care, we're setting the tone for us pouring those things into ourselves and making that our foundation. So, what are some strategies that truly heal? And then we'll talk a little bit about setting up your personal care plan with it. So, the strategies that are going to help you really get to the inner layers of things, because healing happens in layers. There are layers and so many layers of healing. Is it an infinite thing? I wouldn't say so. You're going to eventually get to the point, like I said, to where you're back to where you can function and optimize and function well. And you may even be functioning in a different way after you come out of burnout and you've placed some regenerative practices in place in your life, and you're constantly practicing those things. Life will look an entirely different way after then, all because you will have done the inner work. And these are just a few strategies about it. Rest. I asked a question in a poll today on my Facebook page about what are your favorite ways of practicing self-care, like what's most effective for when you need to heal a period of burnout in your life. And this was the main answer. This was the main answer of restorative rest. And this is the main thing that people point to as well. I'm looking over in the comments to see if y'all had any questions about anything. But yeah, this was the main point that I think a lot of people will get an immediate result from. Resting in a way that is rejuvenating. And yes, there are routines around your sleep. There are things that you can do during the day. I have my blue light glasses with me. Some people have mixed reviews on this, but I like to use my blue light glasses. Y'all don't know why I was about to say Blu-ray. I don't even know if Blu-ray stuff exists. But I seem to get a lot more sleep because I have different sensitivities to light, and I just know how it makes me feel. And like this setup that you see in the background now, I know it's nice and glowy and stuff with the different lights, but this is my natural. I'm like, we in the era where we gonna turn the big light off. We gonna turn the big light off, and we gonna have the little lamps on with everything. But this helps calm me down, and it helps me to rest. And you have those things that help you also with it. Restorative rest may also include your naps. If you in the nap ministry, can I get a yes in the comments? Jala said a sleeping mask. Yes. Blocking out the light, making sure it's dark. Be careful with those because some of them can be too tight over your eyes and you don't want to cause any prolonged irritation or damage or anything. Love the background. Oh, thank you. Yes. I think YouTube and the video department has taught us extremely well with those things. Yes, be careful with the sleep mask. Just make sure it's not the elastic that goes around your head. It's not like pressed too far into your eyeballs. So you don't want it to be completely tight on your over your face, over your eyes. You want to protect your eyes. You don't want to smush them in your head while you're asleep. And I tell you this because yes, your eyes are sensitive. You need to take care of them. I'm not an optometrist or ophthalmologist or anything like that. I just know I had some like that one time. It's really great to invest in a nice pair. Don't go cheap on it, but you use what you can. You be a bougie on a budget. But you do what works for you. You want to stay away from the ones that are extremely tight because yeah, they will cause some irritation. I'm telling you from experience and from just reading up on things as well, just knowing about body things. um, yeah, making sure the light is well. Some people say blue is a wonderful color for your bedroom. Surrounding your so getting your environment prepared for sleep and everything is also important. To not have electronics on or clear electronics out in your bedroom. La some people play soft music just so you can get yourself relaxed in that space. And also, sometimes you may have to go to your medical doctor as well to get labs done to make sure your hormone levels are operating well for that. Especially my perimenopause people. Shout out, we're gonna stay strong through this. We got us, we're gonna make it. But yeah, your even the temperature in your bedroom can affect how well you sleep. Sleeping with socks on can affect that. Sleeping with a weighted blanket on, especially if you're somebody that's prone to have anxiety, that weighted blanket, it sort of lights up the part of your brain that when you were a kid being held, it feels like you're being cocooned or wrapped around, swaddled as a child. And it's a comforting way to rest and to sleep for some people. Some people don't like that, some people don't like that. Jala said, like Whitley from Different World, just making me feel all girly. Okay, just make me feel girly. Yes, yes, be girly. Enjoy all of those moments. So yeah, including that in your self-care plan may look like, having those routines in place, making sure that you are also practicing your breathing techniques. Rest is not about just sleep. Dr. Sandra Dalton is another author. She's the one who talked about, she's a black woman. She talked about the 7 types of rest. I can't give you the Cliff Notes version of it right now. I wanted to, but that will be coming up on my social media page. I'm going to make a post about that. There are 7 types of rest and I've talked about it in the past, but resting from activity. So that way you can recharge and you can refuel. Winding down, that may include prayer. Make sure you build in or you give yourself space for the things that you value spiritually, and connecting to God. However you practice worship and listening to God, you can build that into your rest sections. Rest, I mean, that's a whole nother topic. I think God has the ultimate plan for rest. He was the one who gave us the Sabbath. Sabbath was made for man. Even God himself rested on the seventh day. So that is something that I truly believe that is a divine strategy on how we can heal is through our levels of rest and our disciplines with rest, the things that we are disciplined to do no matter what. So that's the rest part. Movement. This is another big one. Yes, 7 types of rest by Sandra Dalton. She's the one who did an article on it and she taught on it. She just recently came out with another book as well that I think is very interesting. Mindful movement. This is one that I do not hear a lot of people talk about. It is something that I learned to practice, especially during the pandemic. Stretching was the one for me. And when I say mindful, I mean without judgment. I mean, moving in a way that feels nourishing to you, that allows you to flow and move in a way that is grounding for you, meaning that it connects you, it calms you, and it centers you, if that makes any sense. So some people like Tai Chi, some people like yoga, some people do Pilates. Some people really like to get out there and just hit the pavement and run because they need that endorphin release. They need that high. But for those of us who like, low and slow, you want to be even, that's your rhythm. And that's what's so amazing about mindful movement. You don't have to judge yourself. You don't have to say, you don't have to listen to other people's opinion. You do what works well for your body, especially if you notice you got high signs of cortisol, the stress hormone, meaning that your eating has changed, your appetite is going up, it's messing with your sleep, you have the weight around the middle, it's the stress hormone, right? Everybody knows what cortisol is. I feel like even 5-year-olds know what it is because they talk about it so much. But yeah, mindful movement can help your cortisol levels decrease significantly. And you want to move in a way, like I said, that feels good. That's the best thing you can do for that. Make sure you're calm with it. Just a walk outside. I've started taking walks on my lunch break within the last year, especially when it's nice outside. That helps you reset for the day. Um, when you have a break during your day and you're able to just go look out of a window, that helps you to connect to nature, and it allows your mind to drift off and to not just be logged on. Your mind is going to drift off anyway. Do it in a place that is comfortable and where you can be calm, and just give yourself those mini breaks throughout the day here. Also, emotional processing is a big one. And we're talking about strategies that can truly help you to heal. We talked about the restorative type of rest, not just sleeping, but rest that refuels you, rest that helps you with the healing process, to energize you. We talked about mindful movement, being able to move in a way that is calming and connecting for you. And the emotional processing with healing, you have to have an outlet for things. You have to have a safe space to process and to go over things, to talk about things, not necessarily vent, and to pour it all out. Because to some point, there has to be a limit on venting. Even your friends will let, because it won't feel good after so long, and it won't feel good to them. But yeah, it comes to a point, venting, there's nothing wrong with it, by the way. But it comes to the point where you will have to pick up some different tools to handle what's going on the inside of you. And you are nobody's trash can either. I just felt led to say that you are not anyone's trash can. So you don't have to let people vent to you. Some of y'all, that's what's stressing you out, is that you letting so much foolishness or stress come into your ear, come into your space, and you need to set some boundaries and some limits on that. That's all I'm gonna say about that. And I'm gonna move on. But as far as emotional processing, journaling, therapy, talking out things, even walking, meditative walking, where you're listening to things and you're processing. If you're not able to journal right then and there, walking and listening to guided meditations can help you process your emotions. Having a big cry, letting all of those things out, feeling your feelings, and then deciding what the next best action is for you beyond those things, and giving yourself what you need in those spaces. That is a part of healing. That's a part of self-care that will help to regenerate and renew. We have to empty things out. This is even in the body. That's something that we see in nature. Whatever isn't doesn't belong, it has to be eliminated. Excrement, the skin is a big one. Our skin eliminates. Our skin will take things in and out all day long, but there has to be a level of elimination. That's why we get the dead skin and the dandruff and things like that, because things shed. And we have to respect the shedding process, even with our emotions, and being able to release those things and have a healthy outlet of doing those things as well. I just got a few more here. Boundary setting. I feel like I talk about boundaries with y'all all the time, and it's amazing. It's so wonderful. Boundaries, y'all, boundaries help me, keep my edges, Boundaries, I like boundaries now. Everybody starts somewhere on a boundaries journey, especially if you find yourself being irritated and frustrated and just angry a lot of times with certain things. You need better boundaries. And you can have those boundaries. Yes, you can. Learning to say no, becoming the no, owning your no. Yeah, one time I did a campaign called No November. I didn't hear anybody else, say it or do it or anything like that. It was just something that came to me because I needed to celebrate the no's that I made in my life, the no's that I said, the responses, and I needed to practice getting better at saying no, because I needed to protect my energy, my mentality. I needed to protect my emotions. I needed to understand how to manage my emotions, how to have better work life balance, respecting my own time, respecting my own cues, my own capabilities, my own capacities. All of it started with me understanding how to say no, and that no is a complete sentence. What does this look like in your self care plan? Hey, we got a comment. Hello, Pastor Chris. Camellia Miller, boundary setting. Okay, is that a book? That's an author, or are you tagging somebody? Okay, she said yes, 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 yes. Yes, boundaries are amazing. Boundaries are amazing. I don't know why I just thought about this, but I mean, even Jesus had boundaries with things. Even God has boundaries, you know. And we are we can sometimes absorb in our environments that boundaries are not okay. I want people to like me. I want people to accept me, but I'm going to be unhappy at the end of that. There's no reward for spraying toxicity and poison, keeping poisonous things in your life. Why do that? Why do that to yourself when you were made for so much more? And boundaries can definitely be your exit out of that. So if you're in your boundaries era, shout out to you. If you have just celebrated that you became aware of some boundaries that you needed, some healthy boundaries, I should say, whether that's at work or in your social environments, that's amazing. You deserve time to decompress. You deserve time to recharge alone, especially if you're an introvert. And there's no shame in that. There's a huge difference between isolation and solitude. One is recharging, and the other one is like a stripping away. It's like a wasting away. And nobody here is in that wasting away space. You are not wasting away. If you find yourself by yourself quite a bit, you may be going through the emotional processing. You may be shedding some things. I think the point came for me of, hey, am I in isolation, God? Or, am I in solitude, a healthy solitude here? And when I noticed that there were like more, it was more negativity, more negative things coming up in my mind, and it wasn't as enjoyable. That's when I realized, and my good friend Andrea was sharing with me that healing happens in community. It's okay. I thought that was an extrovert thing. I was like, I'm not a social butterfly. I don't know about being around all these people, being vulnerable. But there are communities where is the most valuable thing in there, and the agreed upon value is sharing and caring and vulnerability. And if you haven't been in spaces like that, I definitely can understand um, not knowing how to release yourself in those spaces. But you will know it's safe when you release things in pieces and in parts. You don't have to, drop everything all at once. And people respect you when you don't open up, and people encourage you to open up about things to get the help. I think this is why we have those 12-step programs and why people have, meetings in the evenings. Different groups have different meetings about things. People have mentorships and things, places where they meet, because the overall agreement in the group is growth and restoration. So that's one way that you can pick and know that that community is for you, is by understanding how does this group operate and just watching them. You don't have to give everything all at once when you go in spaces like that. And when you're comfortable, you're allowed to, you notice that you're allowed to be who you are as you are, and people are excited to have you there. Yes. Yes, that's a great space. It is. It's a great space to be in. It's wonderful. I think more spaces like this should exist. We definitely want to create it here at Align with Dr. Kim and in Embracing Brilliance. This is why I appreciate your comments. I thank you for sharing out these lives. I thank you for um, just coming into the space, because it would not be the same if you were not here. All right. Hey, Mr. Jackson. Hello. Oh my goodness. Y'all having a whole conversation in comments. So we talked about boundary setting. Spiritual connection is another strategy on how to truly heal. And I talked about adding in your spiritual components and the values that you hold true through your faith in each and every one of these things. I don't think that, when we leave God out of anything, that it's going to be successful. So that's it, definitely why I said, having a level of faith and understanding what that means for you is definitely something you should explore. That can be meditation practices. When you are creating, painting, putting together campaigns, doing things online creative wise, everybody's a creative, because we all have we all have accepted that if we were created by our creator, we also have those creative abilities within us. And there are so many creative things people have done over the years. And we've even studied creativity, right? In so many different levels. So there's that creative part within all of us. And that's a lot of times how God expresses himself through us as well, with the gifts that we have. So yes, it's a personal thing. And when I say personal, I mean it's according to what you like and the things that you need to fill you up, the things that bring you joy when you're in those spaces as well. Sometimes that involves some solitude as well, not isolation. We talked about the difference between isolation and solitude, but being able to recharge in a quiet space, creating your own retreats, creating your own spiritual retreats. I know we are in the season of fasting right now, and some say seek season, where you're seeking God about something. So there can be personal retreats that you have throughout the week, spiritual retreats that you take with friends or family or just with yourself. I know some people who have inbox messages or group chats where they set up videos and they connect with one another. What do you believe in God for? How's this going with your faith? This thing that you were challenged about. And there's like a conglomerate of just faith just bouncing around, and everybody is growing, everybody is sharing, and you are able to borrow faith off of other people. But whatever you need to cause that connection within community, that's a unique need or a unique way that you can personally express that or allow those things to come into your life just by saying it, like, hey, can we meet, on a chat? Can we set up some time to talk? All of those type of things can help us when we are healing through self-care practices and we're ready to invite safe people into that space. Hey, Patrice. Hello, my love. I appreciate you for creating such an amazing space. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. You are welcome. Thank you for being here. This is also another one, y'all, is nutrition. The way you eat will affect your mood. It will also affect how well you perform, the work that you do. It can affect so many things in life if your gut is in balance. If you are filling yourself with healthy, nutritious, nourishing food, and this doesn't have to be food that you eat, this can be things that you're reading, things that you're listening to. Remember, we talked about holistic self care, doing things from a mind, body, soul level, but nourishing nutrition. Your food will affect your mood, it will affect your mind. So, whole foods, whatever it is, I recommend people go to like as you start with your nutritionist. From what I've found, what optimizes for my body, and because you go off of how you feel, and you may have to explore and experiment with these things. I know we have some people on here who have tried keto. I know we have people who have tried high protein diet, Mediterranean diet, all of those type of things where you have a food list and you just stick to those foods on it, blood type diet, but you do what works best for you and how you feel and how you're able to operate. Some people, if you're a runner and you notice that, I need sugar before I work out, or some people, I need a stalk of celery, whatever it is that you need to try and really notice, the differences in how your body responds with those things. Um, but definitely having whole foods, staying away from so much processed foods. Um, Shopping on the perimeter, like staying away from the boxes. Like you can get the things like the rice, your baking goods, things like that, your nuts and stuff. But if you pay attention, it's the perimeter of the aisles, meaning your frozen section, your food section, like the market section, where they have all of the fresh produce, and all around the perimeter. And I'm thinking about Walmart, by the way, but just about all stores are like this. Yeah, even Whole Foods. Now that I think about it, all around the perimeter, there are some of the freshest things, but in the aisles, and it, has something to do probably with grocery store science and things like that. But yeah, you want to stay away from a lot of packaged things when you're on a whole foods diet. And the more you start to read these labels and you become conscious about the chemicals that you're putting in your body and how that's affecting your performance, you'll start putting a lot of stuff down. You'll stop eating so much sugar. You'll stop drinking so many things when you become highly conscious of the fact that, hey, whatever I'm ingesting, my body's going to break it down and it's going to become a part of me. Whatever I am reading, whatever I am listening to, my body's going to break it down and it's going to, or my spirit is going to break it down and it's going to become a part of me. What do I look like on a microscopic level? Are there wholesome, foods and things like that? Or are there pesticides and chemicals and things that my body don't understand? Is there negativity there? Is there just foolishness and nastiness and all sorts of things? Yeah, I don't want to say nastiness, but things that are not helpful for you, things that are not serving for you. And at any time, you are allowed to say, hey, this isn't working for me. And you can change the course of your life with everything. So that those have been those strategies of how we can truly start healing through the self-care. We've got the restorative type of rest, the mindful movement, the emotional processing. We got the boundary setting, spiritual connection, and your nutrition. And remember, I said nutrition isn't just about food ingestion, it's also about what you're reading, what you are listening to as well, because it will become a part of you as well. So I talked about having a personal plan. And we've kind of discussed this throughout the process of what a personal plan may look like and the things that you need to include within yourself, how you can personalize it based upon your rhythms, based upon your capacity that you have, and based upon what you need. Take those things into consideration. Start small, no matter how small it is. Don't compare, don't get caught in the comparison loop, the comparison trap of what somebody else does for self care and how extravagant they are, when you can simply use what you have access to and bring in the joy with it. Learn how to create joy and comfort with the things that you have, so you don't stress yourself out trying to get something. And 9 times out of 10, you already have it. You already have access to some type of glass, and you can make the moment. And that's just a glass, and we're drinking the cherry juice that I talked about before. But yes, you can have all of these experiences to pour that love and that wealth into yourself, and to make sure that you are serving from and a cup of overflow, and that you're serving the overflow that goes into the saucer of the cup, the thing that holds the cup up. There's your cup and there's your saucer, and everything else will feed or flow from what overflows out of it. Not giving our cups away, we not giving our saucers away. We are setting boundaries, we are being intentional, and we're allowing people to support us. We're teaching people how to support us. I also want to encourage you to heal through self care. Heal through self care. I think I've been saying this several times. I have a resource in my Pinsite page, in my Pinsite account, on how to do this, how to set up your transformative week. I challenge you just to try it for a week. I have an accountability practice in there for you, ways you can self check in with yourself, because that's one of the bases. I think it's the main basis of accountability, is starting with the self check in and being able to give yourself some feedback and really look at it and gain some insight on what you're doing and how you need to move forward with those things. That's in my Pinsite story, you guys. And the link is included in the bottom here on that YouTube link, or either on my page where you saw this video as well. Thank you all so much for coming. Derek said, yes, preach. Okay. You think I'm preaching? All right. Well, I'm glad y'all hearing. Yes, like I said, I really want you to take away from this that you have the power to practice self care, and the type of self care that heals. So the next time when you are enjoying a bubble bath, you don't think of it as such of a surface level, that you really acknowledge that you are giving, you're gifting yourself your attention. You're gifting yourself the intention that you are being filled right now. You can definitely be one of the sources to feel yourself as well. And no, by all means, I am not saying that this is apart from God. I believe He gives us the ability to do that, and we say no to it and want to run, give it to somebody else. I think that's how it happens. I think that's where there's a disconnect in the church with that. Is that, we have understood and participated in works and service so much till, we are screaming out, our bodies and everything is screaming out for restoration, and we want revival. And there's just a lot of things that, jumping up and yelling and sitting in 4 and 5 hour services just won't get. There's a lifestyle that God has for us. There's, rest and the Sabbath and all of those sorts of things, and spiritual nourishment that He gives us that can provide us with the feeling that we need, that we can have that rest. We can have those certain things that we put in place as God gives us the wisdom to do, that will help us to maintain our mental, physical, and emotional well-being. And we can do that in a way that brings joy, and we can fellowship with other people while we're doing it. So yes, this has been amazing. I definitely hope to see y'all get that resource as well. If this is something you need to practice, I go over about burnout in that ebook, and it's a free ebook, by the way, if I didn't say that. But yeah, download that, and I'll be talking to y'all soon. So I do have to say this: our next live, I'm pulling up my calendar here, y'all. Yes, we will have a live next week, but the following week on the 31st. Yes, I will not be live that week, but I'll put things out. But yes, thank you all so much once again for coming. And I think that's about it. I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.